As the sun was just beginning to rise above the horizon, creating a golden glow across the rolling plains of South Dakota, my friends and I started off Labor Day weekend with a scheme so audacious that it could only be characterized as unadulterated, unvarnished invention. What is the catalyst? It is nothing short of country music legend Blake Shelton, whose dynamic personality and magnetic energy create the perfect environment for an adventure that will be remembered for a long time. What began as a spur-of-the-moment decision to attend one of his concerts in Sioux Falls turned into a frenzy of music, companionship, and unforeseen detours that drove our creative spirits to new heights. This narrative tells the story of a group of companions who transformed a weekend of festivities into an epic filled with laughter, emotion, and boundless freedom. The spark, the moment Blake answers the call to adventure. One night in August, a group chat began buzzing, and that was the start of it all. My buddy Sarah, who is the sort of person who likes to be at the center of things, came to me with some news that was hard to ignore. Over Labor Day weekend, Blake Shelton is going to be putting on a show in Sioux Falls. Who will participate? The concept struck like a flash of lightning. The ideal musical accompaniment for an excursion over the weekend was Blake's music, which is unrefined, full of spirit, and unabashedly enjoyable. We had assembled a team of 6 people within a matter of hours. Sarah, the brave planner; Jake, the jokester; Mia, the photographer with an eye for beauty; Liam, the outdoorsy one; Emma, the foodie; and I, the person who chronicled our insanity. We wholeheartedly responded to the fervent cry of South Dakota, a state with an inhospitable beauty and vast tracts of open land, with a hearty hell yeah. As we explored ways to make this vacation more than just a concert excursion, our imagination soared. Along the route, there would be peculiar attractions, which were part of the road trip proposal made by Jake. Mia suggested holding a photo challenge with the objective of encapsulating the essence of South Dakota. Emma was adamant on seeking out the best local eateries, while Liam, who was always up for an adventure, suggested sleeping under the stars. By the time that we had hammered out all of the specifics, the Labor Day weekend that we had originally planned had morphed into a veritable creative odyssey. The road beckons. A merry road trip adventure begins. On Friday morning, we loaded ourselves into the van that Liam drives, which is old and worn, but completely reliable. Its nickname is the Freedom Wagon, and we departed from Minneapolis in it. The journey to Sioux Falls, which was a distance of 250 miles, was nothing at all like the norm. We were inspired by the song "Boys Round Here" by Blake to enjoy the backroads, stopping at every eccentric roadside attraction we could come across. The first stop on our journey was the world's largest ball of twine, located in Darwin, Minnesota. It is a wonderfully odd testament to human ingenuity. We took selfies, laughed till our sides hurt, and even tried to add a piece of string to the ball. Spoiler: the caretaker was not amused. At a later point, we came across a sunflower field so expansive that it appeared to be a painting. Mia was completely in her element as a photographer. She organized an impromptu photo shoot and instructed us to jump, dance, and whirl among the golden flowers. The photographs were breathtaking, but the actual enchantment was how they inspired our imaginations to run wild. Jake began to spontaneously compose a country song about sunflowers and pickup trucks, and before long, we were all singing along with him, coming up with ridiculous lyrics as we traveled. Our playlist was a combination of songs by Blake Shelton and some ridiculous tunes that we had created ourselves by the time that we had crossed the border into South Dakota. The Sioux Falls Showdown. Blake illuminates the night. On Saturday night, the major event was a concert by Blake Shelton that took place in the Denny Sanford Premier Center. There were thousands of fans in attendance, sporting cowboy hats and boots, and singing along to every word of the music, which created an atmosphere in the arena that was charged with energy. With a smile that conveyed he was enjoying himself as much as the audience, Blake enthusiastically performed songs such as All Red and God's Country, and took the stage with the charm of a tornado. The stories about small-town life and playful barbs at his own celebrity status that he shared with the audience in between songs felt as if they were being told by an old friend. While our crew was in the middle of it, we danced in the aisles and sang out the songs at the top of our voices. Sarah, who has always been daring, was able to obtain a high five from a security guard by waving a sign she made herself that said, "South Dakota loves Blake." But the moment that really pushed our imagination to new heights was during Honeybee. Emma began drawing up a fictional love tale on her phone, envisioning a pair who would meet at a performance similar to this one, after being inspired by the song's nostalgic, beautiful atmosphere. By the end of the evening, all of us were contributing to her story, incorporating details from our trip: a romance in a field of sunflowers, a proposal made with a ball of twine, and of course, a cameo by Blake Shelton. South Dakota's creative canvas. Looking past the concert, we were resolved to keep the creative flame burning as we arose early on Sunday morning. We packed up and made our way westward after Liam had found a campsite in the Black Hills that was around 4 hours away from Sioux Falls by car. The terrain changed from wide, flat prairies to stunning cliffs and hills covered with pine trees, instilling a sense of wonder that motivated us to go on our next expedition. While we were at the campsite, we put up our tents and constructed a fire. But the truly magical moment occurred when Maya proposed that we have a story slam beneath the stars. We were all tasked with coming up with stories that were inspired by the weekend, and the outcomes turned out to be a combination of funny, emotional, and completely strange anecdotes. Jake concocted a fable about a ball of twine that broke free and pursued us throughout South Dakota. A missing slice of chislic, which is a local delicacy that we had previously sampled in Sioux Falls, was the centerpiece of a culinary mystery that Emma created. I recounted a story in which Blake Shelton surreptitiously came to join our campfire, only to disclose that he was a cowboy who traveled across time. We were enveloped in a sense of seclusion and kinship for a brief period of time. The sounds of our laughing and applause reverberated through the forest, and it felt as though we were the only people in the entire world. The last day, Badlands and grand schemes. We decided to make our last day, which fell on a Monday, an adventure to Badlands National Park. We were absolutely blown away by the park's surreal landscape, which was reminiscent of the surface of Mars. A fresh surge of imagination was ignited by the striking granite strata and craggy spires. Maya was using her camera to take time-lapses of the changing light, while Liam was leading us on a trek across the park's paths. We played a game of Badlands Brainstorm along the way, in which each of us had to propose a creative proposal that was inspired by the environment that surrounded us. A science fiction story set in a Badlands in the distant future was offered by Sarah. Dust and Dreams is the name of a country album that Jake recommended. I pitched a podcast series with the concept of uncovering the untold stories of the little villages of South Dakota. Blake Shelton would be the perfect choice to narrate. We took a moment to reflect on our weekend when we were standing at a viewing point, watching the Badlands be painted in tones of orange and purple by the setting sun. Beginning as a journey to attend a performance, the vacation evolved into a celebration of creation. The inspiration for this transformation came from the music of Blake Shelton, the natural beauty of South Dakota, and the unshakable connection of friendship. We had composed music, narrated stories, shot photographs, and thought of concepts that may continue to exist beyond the span of this weekend. The journey back home, preserving the spark of inspiration. The moments of magic did not escape from the drive back to Minneapolis, despite the fact that it was quieter. As we reflected on the events of the weekend, we played Home by Blake on repeat, allowing the words to fully penetrate our consciousness. Every single one of us took something away with us. It might have been a photograph, a narrative, a music, or simply the sensation that anything could happen if we allowed our creativity to flourish. Sarah turned to address us as we made our entrance into the city, and she declared, "We will do this again next year, and we will do it on a bigger scale." We imagined the possibilities that lay ahead of us and nodded in agreement. In the end, our Labor Day weekend with Blake Shelton in South Dakota was not simply a getaway. It was a tribute to the power of imagination to convert the ordinary into the extraordinary. We had discovered a connection that would continue to burn long after the music had ended, a link that would outlive everything from sunflowers to campfires under the stars, from the highs of concerts to visions of the Badlands.